Hey, good morning, Facebook and Get Inspired Michiana. I'm Diane Bennett with REMAX 100 in Indiana, Inspired Homes in Michigan, and this is Life Inspired. And our guest today is John Kabzinski.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm terrific. How are you?
Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
So, if you guys have watched before, John's been our guest before. So, this is the first time we've had a repeat guest. But as you know, so if you've never watched Life Inspired before, it's a story about how life was going along and there was a ... turning point moment in your life, and now you're walking an inspired life. And for most people, there are multiple turning points. And John had one after we were on air, and he wanted to share it with you again. And I'm so delighted because you've got a new ministry out of it because of this turning point.
That's part of it. There were quite a few views. The last time I was here, I talked about losing my son.
Yep.
And, I say we don't ever get over it, but we get through it. Back then, I was very, very, very mad at God. I told you, I screamed at him. I did all kinds of stuff. But one thing I didn't do was I didn't forgive him. 1,303 days later.
1,303 days after his
Passing. There was at my church, there was a service there, and there was a chance for people who hadn't given their life to God, to Jesus, to walk across the stage. I had done that, but for some reason I felt compelled to go to this service with Dr. Bob. Had to drive over into Elkhart.
Hi, Dr. Bob.
Hi, Dr. Bob. And didn't know really why I was there. I got there, I heard the whole thing, and then I walked across the stage, and what it was, a burden was taken from me. It was the first time that I truly forgave God for taking Tyler. Never expected it, but since then, the guy that kind of caught me at the end of the stage is the pastor there, Bryant. I'm in one-on-one class with him and learning more about God. But what this also did is a lot of people reached out from the last telecast, and they had struggles with losing loved ones. And so I've helped them a lot. But also what came out of it was my best friend, Jim, who is a pastor, and another good friend of mine, Lieutenant Beckham with the Mishawaka Police Department. We've been talking about we're sick and tired of these kids overdosing. We're sick and tired of them committing suicide. We're sick and tired of parents not understanding or knowing what to look for and all that. So we kept scheming and trying to figure out a way that we could help the community. We got support from the Mishawaka Police Department. We've had a couple meetings. And we don't have a name for it yet, but right now it's more of a support group. And as people start to come, and it is the second Monday of every month, and if you want to know more information, and TJ put on the bottom of my the intro, my email address, you can reach out. But this isn't just for people that are on drugs, although one of the meetings we had a man that was addicted and his parents were there also. But it's more about getting the word out in the community that we care.
Yes.
It's faith-based, so God's on our side. He's going to be there to help us like he always does. But what we want to do is we want to help to inspire parents to try to understand what their kids are going through. Where we live in Granger, I mean, there are a lot of two-career families, and the kids sometimes get left out. And so if they get in trouble, mom and dad bail them out just like that. Then later when they do get in trouble and mom and dad aren't there to bail them out, some of them decide that they really can't deal with it and they take their own lives. Happens more than you know, but it does. We also want to help let people know, let parents know what to look for if their kids are doing something maybe they shouldn't, because they are going to be introduced to a lot of things. Whether it be drugs or alcohol or whatever, and even prescription drugs. We know we've lost some kids in the past because of prescription drugs. They tried them with alcohol and they're gone. Our intention is to use God and use what we know to try to help people understand a little bit more about what's going on. And if they know, then maybe they can do something about it before something bad happens. And that's kind of something that's been on my heart Not only after Tyler passed, I started knowing, it's like when you're looking at a car and you think it's the greatest thing in the world and there aren't any out there, but as soon as you buy it, then you see so many of the same
Just
cars.
like, right.
Well, I didn't realize how many kids were losing their lives daily until I lost Tyler. You start paying more attention, and people started reaching out to me to help them through their grieving process. But it's a lot, and I just want to try to do what I can to try to stop it. I miss the opportunity to see my son get married, to have grandkids. I don't want other people to have to do that.
Thank you.
So,
I know one of the clients that I was able to sell their house for them, they had a son that struggled with, I think his was drug addiction or whatever. And when he died from overdose, I was very honored to be able to go to the viewing and get to stay and pray. They had people stay overnight and pray over his body before the burial the next day. It was really, really just very moving to be privileged to get to do that. And the pouring out of the community, how many people had come to the viewing the day before. I mean, it's so many because, you're not supposed to outlive your kids.
no.
You're supposed to go first.
Yeah.
And there's so many, my daughter who has, she's like 20, and she has lots of friends that have struggled with the depression that is almost suicidal. And I don't think she's had any of her own personal close friends to actually commit suicide, but she's had several on suicide watch, several that have gone in for counseling because of it. And even stayed, at like a Epworth or a place like that because of it. It's just rampant. And I know a lot of people are watching on their phones, but I feel like the phones are so helpful. There's so many great things that there's tools on there and stuff like that. But I do also feel like we've used that and not learned communication and not
Right.
learned community and not learned how to do that. And we parents aren't necessarily that great at communicating with our own kids, and so we haven't taught them how, and they don't know how, and it's just like, it's so multifaceted.
Well, and I send out messages every morning, and
Right?
I have for...
And I get that.
Yeah, I have for 1,329 days. Didn't know how long it was going to go, and it's funny how I remember those things. And the Tyler's gone 1,343 days. You remember those numbers. But one thing, that telephone is a distraction device, and it's taken away. And I keep telling you, I challenge you to spend each moment as if it's your last. And I truly see that because you never know when it's
Right.
going to be. And we're inundated with so many. I think statistics say 70% of the thoughts that you have when you're in an idle state are negative. And sometimes I think that can weigh on you. When you work on and you're in the moment, you have a chance to make memories. And that's something I'd love to see everybody do. And I challenge all of you out there to do that. Take a moment. Maybe take a whole day and not complain even once and see how things change. Maybe take a moment, give God your worries and your fears, because they're not worth a darn anyway, and He wants them, but they're not doing you any good.
Right.
And forget about yesterday and enjoy today, and don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. And if it doesn't come, what did you miss? Don't forget to tell your friends and your loved ones. We're going into the holiday season, and it's Thanksgiving and it's Christmas. And if you need an excuse to tell your family you love them, what better time than when you see them? I encourage you to call somebody and actually have a conversation. I'm not talking about texting them. I'm not talking about emailing them. I'm talking about listening to their voice and see what that does for you. Mm-hmm. When you live in the moment and you make memories, you have those. I have many, many memories with Tyler, and I'm so thankful.
Amen.
Because I did. Mm-hmm. And I can do more, and so can everybody else. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity
I'm so glad you
to reach out. We're getting some traction. We do have with our newest thing. We have.
So when do you meet again? We're going to post the dates.
It's the second Monday of every month.
Okay.
And you reach out to me to my email address, and I'll give you more information. But we went to neighborhood watches. We have Lieutenant Beckham is amazing. He's not your normal police officer. He's a guy that gives a crap, and I love it. He's got a heart for guys that's incredible, and a heart for kids, and a heart for families, and he's got to deal with this stuff every day, and it just breaks his heart. And we want to do something about it.
Yeah.
And using this as a vehicle, I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It was really, really
Absolutely.
nice of you to do.
And so TJ asked me to share with you guys too that next Friday we're not going to have all the lights and the fun, cool, different camera angles or whatever, because we're going to be live on location where we're doing Thanksgiving. So my guest next week is going to be my mother-in-law. So I hope you'll tune in and watch my mother-in-law, Carolyn Bennett. She's wonderful, and she's going to share her testimony too. And but if you guys want to reach out, have coffee with John. If you know somebody who has a child that's struggling, I have a very dear friend, Marla, that is the counselor for our family, and the suicide stuff and drug stuff is so rampant. So if you know
alcohol,
alcohol, yeah. If you know anyone that's struggling and you want us to get you in contact with Marla, get you in contact with John and his Tuesday group, we want to do that. Monday group.
Monday.
Second Monday.
Every month, yep.
Every month. So the next date would be, what's the next date? Okay, well, we'll find out and we'll put it on the post. So thank you guys for watching. John, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having
All
me.
right, y'all, happy Thanksgiving, because we won't see you until after Thanksgiving. To have a beautiful one, and do call out or go see somebody in person. Thanks.
Enjoy your family. Enjoy the moments.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.